and just runs with it. From one perspective, it's a tool, a thing you can use to get useful tasks done in language. From another perspective, it's a system that can make dreams, thoughts, ideas flourish in text in front of you.
GPT-4 is incredibly advanced and sophisticated. It can take in and generate up to 25,000 words of text, around 8 times more than ChatGPT. It understands images and can express logical ideas about them. For example, it can tell us that if the strings in this image were cut, the balloons would fly away.
This is the place where you just get turbocharged by these AIs. They're not perfect, they make mistakes, and so you really need to make sure that you know the work is being done to your level of expectation. But I think that it is fundamentally about amplifying what every person is able to do.
GPT-4 training finished last August, and everything that's been happening in the past few months up until we've released it has been a giant sprint to make it safer, more aligned, and also more useful. We have put in already a lot of internal guardrails around things like adversarial usage, unwanted content, and privacy concerns. And when we release a model, we know things are not done. We know we have to learn. We know we have to update. We know we have to keep improving all the systems around it to make it suitable for society.
To me, the most compelling use cases of these technologies will come from starting with a real human need. The obvious one where these systems have really incredible potential is in education.
GPT-4 can teach a huge range of subjects. Imagine giving a 5th grader a personal math tutor with unlimited time and patience. It's a great tool to bring learning to everyone in a way that is personalized to their skill level.
GPT-4 brings the dream of having the most useful, helpful assistant to life. It's really about adding as much value to everyday life as possible.
The partnership that OpenAI has with Microsoft is to shape this technology into something that's going to be useful for the world.
The power of AI, hopefully, is that it can help us be more productive, which ultimately leads to better quality of life.
The development of the transistor, of the computer, of the internet, the semiconductor industry, all the programming languages, everything came together to produce AI technology. And while it is very limited, it is already easy to imagine what the impact of a successor many generations down the line will look like.
We think that GPT-4 will be the world's first experience with a highly capable and advanced AI system. So we really care about this model being useful to everyone, not just the early adopters or people very close to technology. So it is really important to us that as many people as possible participate so that we can learn more about how it can be helpful to everyone.
Let's give this a try. Once again, kind of making sure that we understand what the code is doing. Now, a second issue that can come up is it doesn't know what environment I'm running in. And if you notice, it says, hey, here's this inscrutable error message, which if you've not used Jupyter Notebook a lot with async I/O before, you probably have no idea what this means. But fortunately, once again, you can just sort of say to the model, hey, I'm using Jupyter and would like to make this work. Can you fix it? And the specific problem is that there's already an event loop running, so you need to use this nest async IO library. You need to call nest async IO.apply. The model knows all of this, correctly instantiates all of these pieces into the bot. It even helpfully tells you, oh, you're running in Jupyter. Well, you can do this bang pip install in order to install the package if you don't already have it. That was very helpful. So now we'll run, and it looks like something happened. So the first thing I'll do is go over to our Discord, and I will paste in a screenshot of our Discord itself. So remember, GPT-4 is not just a language model. It's also a vision model. In fact, it can flexibly accept inputs that intersperse images and text arbitrarily, kind of like a document. Now, the image feature is in preview, so this is going to be a little sneak peek. It's not yet publicly available. It's something we're working with one partner called Be My Eyes in order to really start to develop it and get it ready for prime time. But you can ask anything you like. For example, I'll say GPT-4, hello world, can you describe this image in painstaking detail? All right, which first of all, think of how you would do this yourself. There's a lot of different things you could latch onto, a lot of different pieces of the system you could describe. And we can go over to the actual code and we can see that, yep, we in fact received the message, have formatted an appropriate request for our API. And now we wait, because one of the things we have to do is we have to make the system faster. That's one of the things that we're working on optimizing. In the meanwhile, I just want to say to the audience that's watching, we'll take an audience request next. So if you have an image and a task you'd like to accomplish, please submit that to the Discord. Our moderators will pick one that we'll run. So we can see that the Discord, oh, it looks like we have a response. Perfect. So it's a screenshot of a Discord application interface. Pretty good. Did not even describe it. It knows that it's Discord. There's probably Discord written there somewhere where it just kind of knows this from prior experience. Server icon labeled GPT-4 describes the interface in great detail. Talks about all the people telling me that I'm supposed to do Q. Very, very kind audience. And describes a bunch of the notification messages and the users that are in the channel. And so there you go. That's some pretty good understanding. Now, this next one, if you notice, first of all, we got a post, but the model did not actually see the message. So is this a failure of the model or of the system around the model? Well, we can take a look. And if you notice, here, content is an empty string. We received a blank message contents. The reason for this is a dirty trick that we played on the AI. So if you go to the Discord documentation and you scroll through it all the way down to, it's hard for me to even find, honestly, to the message content intent, you'll see this was added as of September 2022 as a required field. So in order to receive a message that does not explicitly tag you, you now have to include this new intent in your code. Remember I said intents have changed a lot over time. This is much newer than the model is possibly able to know. So maybe we're out of luck. We have to debug this by hand. But once again, we can try to use GPT-4's language understanding capabilities to solve this. Now keep in mind, this is a document of I think this is 10,000, 15,000 words, something like that. It's not formatted very well. This is literally a Command-A copy-paste. This is what it's supposed to parse through to find in the middle of that document that, oh yeah, message contents, that's required now. But let's see if it can do it. So we will ask for, I am receiving blank message contents. Can you, why could this be happening? How do I fix it? So one thing that's new about GPT-4 is context length. 32,000 tokens is kind of the upper limit that we support right now. And the model is able to flexibly use long documents. It's something we're still optimizing, so we recommend trying it out, but not necessarily sort of really scaling it up just yet, unless you have an application that really benefits from it. So if you're really interested in long context, please let us know. We want to see what kinds of applications it unlocks. But if you see, it says, oh yeah, message content intent was not enabled. And so you could either ask the model to write some code for you, or you could actually just, do it the old-fashioned way. Either way is fine. I think that this is an augmenting tool, makes you much more productive, but it's still important that you are in the driver's seat and are the manager and knows what's going on. So now we're connected once again. And Boris, would you like to rerun the message? Once again, we can see that we have received it, even though the bot was not explicitly tagged. Seems like a pretty good description. Interesting. This is an interesting image, actually. It looks like it's a DALL-E generated one. And let's actually try this one as well. So what's funny about this image? Oh, it's already been submitted. So once again, we can verify that it's making the right API calls. Squirrels do typically eat nuts. We don't expect them to use a camera or act like a human. So I think that's a pretty good explanation of why that image is funny. So I'm going to show you one more example of what you can do with this model. So I have here a nice hand-drawn mock-up of a joke website, definitely worthy of being put up on my refrigerator. So I'm just going to take out my phone, literally take a photo of this mock-up, and then I'm going to send it to our Discord. All right, going to send it to our Discord. And this is, of course, the rockiest part, making sure that we actually send it to the right channel. Which, in fact, I think maybe I did not. Sent it to the wrong channel. It's funny, it's always the sort of non-AI parts of these demos that are the hardest part to do. And here we go. Technology is now solved. And now we wait. So the thing that's amazing in my mind is that what's going on here is we're talking to a neural network. And this neural network was trained to predict what comes next, right? It played this game of sort of being shown a partial document and then predicted what comes next across an unimaginably large amount of content. And from there, it learns all of these skills that you can apply in all of these very flexible ways. And so we can actually take now this output. So literally we just said to output the HTML from that picture. And here we go. Actual working JavaScript, filled in the jokes. For comparison, this was the original of our mockup. And so there you go, going from hand-drawn, beautiful art, if I do say so myself, to working website. And this is all just potential, right? You can see lots of different applications. We ourselves are still figuring out new ways to use this. So we're going to work with our partner. We're going to scale up from there, but please be patient because it's going to take us some time to really make this available for everyone. So I have one last thing to show you. I've shown you reading existing content. I've shown you how to build with the system as a partner. The last thing I'm going to show is how to work with the system to accomplish a task that none of us like to do, but we all have to. So you may have guessed, the thing we're going to do is taxes. Now note that GPT is not a certified tax professional, nor am I, so you should always check with your tax advisor. But it can be helpful to understand some dense content, to just be able to empower yourself to be able to sort of solve problems and get a handle on what's happening when you could not otherwise. So once again, I'll do a system message. In this case, I'm going to tell it that it's tax GPT, which is not a specific thing that we've trained into this model. You can be very creative.